Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. I'd like to give a brief introduction to this first video, kind of setting the stage for the content that will follow. I have seen so many videos about making a Minecraft Forever world and how rewarding it is to look back at all your builds and memories with that nostalgic lens. So following trends I've seen lately, my Minecraft gameplay will be the video while I read Reddit slop and judge strangers on the internet. With that being said, let's get right into it. We'll be starting with r/am I the a-hole, because lately I can't get enough of it, and if you clicked on this video, I'm guessing you know why. A side note for this first video, excuse the bit of stuttering. This is just fabulously optimized vanilla Minecraft with a few minor mods added for quality of life. Enjoy. Alright, so for this first one, we're going to start pretty lighthearted with, am I the a-hole for food so my roommate doesn't? I know it sounds bad, but hear me. I, 19 female, a university student. I have two roommates, one 19 and one 25, both female. This rant is about the 25. Backstory, I meal prep on Mondays for the days I have classes, Tuesday and Friday. I leave the house around 5:30 a.m. to go to the gym and get back around 7 p.m. because my lab classes run late. However, recently, my roommate has been eating the food I meal prep. For instance, if I meal prep on Monday, the food for the week would be gone by Wednesday, and I would have nothing to eat for Thursday and Friday. When I asked her about it, her excuse was, well, I'm too tired from work to cook, and the food looked like anyways, so I'm doing you a favor, and I eat it. Even after I've told her a couple times that meal prep is for 4 days. I low-key just gave up. My other roommate said that her fruit gets eaten as well, and it's the same excuse. Well, it's just going to go bad, blah blah blah. We're first year uni students, we really don't know what to do. Honestly, it's so draining living with someone like this, especially when she brings up the fact that my parents pay for my rent and food while she works a full-time job and is barely getting by with the cost of living nowadays. Apparently to her, it really doesn't affect me directly, and while technically she's right, and part of me feels really bad that she can't afford food, I'm just feeling really helpless. Recently, she got petty by leaving the Tupperware in the sink after eating my food and saying, well, technically it's your dishes, so you have to wash it. Bruh, what? So in the midst of anger from this, I installed these lock fridges that require a code to unlock. Although I found it really hard to resort to this, as I've always been taught to respect others, and it feels as I'm going against my core values, I just feel taken advantage of. Ever since I've installed this, she called me a and has been acting really upset, giving me and my other roommate the silent treatment. She would also make snide remarks like greedy, etc., and she would bring her friends over and make comments like, sorry, can't eat here, the food is in jail, and laugh it off. And now I'm starting to think, maybe I was kind of stingy. Honestly, people of Reddit, let me know. Was I the a-hole for installing lockboxes to keep my roommate from getting into my food? Alright, so on this one, I could totally sympathize with the 25-year-old roommate at first, until she starts being an a-hole. And she starts mentioning like, well, your parents pay for everything, and you should clean up these dishes, and that's just a really ungrateful way to look at things, and especially if you do need help, that's not the way to ask. And personally, I may be a little biased because I really don't like people touching my stuff. If I have my own stuff, you have your own stuff, that's the way I'm happiest. But I totally understand sharing with someone that needs something. One of the top commenters, Doge Dart, says, not the a-hole. What's the bet she's also using your toiletries? She is a thief, and just because your parents pay for things doesn't mean she's entitled to them also. It means she's stealing the raw materials from your parents and the prep/cooking time from you. I see a few options. Move out, get her to move out, just continue dealing with her. Or number 4, every time she makes a remark about the food being in jail, respond with something petty, well, I wouldn't lock my food if I didn't live with a thief, or, well, it's either the food is in jail or you go to jail. And in my opinion, that's kind of extreme. That's a little silly, but yeah, I definitely would use a lockbox, and I would probably just ignore her. At the end of the day, that's your roommate for however long until you either graduate or she graduates, so you might as well stay on cordial terms and just get over this lump. Alright, this next one's a little juicier, so I don't really know yet. I have to read through the whole thing to give my opinion on it, but the title is, my girlfriend gave a fake alibi to help her criminal friend. I reported it and now I'm single. Am I the a-hole? So my girlfriend and I have been together for 5 years. She is 24, I'm 27. We have a solid relationship, at least we did until recently. I'm writing this because something major happened last week and I need some outside perspective. To give some context, my girlfriend had a really rough childhood. Her mother was an alcoholic and died when she was only 5. Her dad worked multiple jobs to support her and her sisters, but that meant he wasn't around much while they were growing up. When she was around 14, things finally settled down. Her dad remarried, her life got more stable, and she started going to school regularly. She finished high school and turned things around. But before that, her life was chaotic. She spent a lot of time on the street and got into some petty crime like shoplifting, minor arson, and even one incident of drug dealing. Ooh, sounds wild, I know. When I met her, I never would have guessed she had that past. She's completely different now, responsible, kind, grounded, but some of her old friends are still around, and they're a reminder of where she came from. One of them in particular, we'll call him P. I'm going to call him Pete. So he's 36 now, has always been part of her life. She says that he was like a father figure to her back when she was basically raising herself. According to her, he helped her survive that time, and she feels like she owes him. The problem is, Pete never got out of the scene. He's still involved with drugs, and frankly, who knows what else. I don't like him, never have, but I try to respect that he was a part of her past. Fast forward, Pete got arrested. She told me afterward that he had given her as an alibi. He said he was with her at the time of the crime. Thing is, he wasn't. She wasn't even involved. But when the police questioned her, she backed up his lie. She admitted to me and said she did it to protect him. She believes he deserves another chance and thinks that by helping him avoid jail, she's somehow helping him change. We had a massive fight, the worst we've ever had. I told her straight up he should face the consequences of his actions. Maybe that's what would finally push him to change his life. She didn't see it that way. To her, loyalty meant standing by him even if it meant lying to the police. I couldn't let it go. I stewed over it all night, and the next day, I went to the police and told them that she lied. I didn't feel good about it, but I couldn't live with the idea of letting it slide. That's not who I am. When she found out last week, she lost it. She called me, screamed at me, said I betrayed her and destroyed her trust. Then she broke up with me on the spot. So now I'm sitting here single, wondering if I did the right thing. On one hand, I know lying to the police is serious. On the other hand, I think I also dragged her into legal trouble because of it. I didn't do it out of revenge. I did it because I generally think Pete needs to face reality and because I couldn't stand silently by while my girlfriend lied for him. I feel like I stuck to my values, but I also feel like I blew up my relationship. So, am I the a-hole? So no lie, this one kind of sounds outlandish, like this guy doesn't have any social awareness or something, but if it is real, I'm going to answer for that. And I mean, if she was some kind of crackhead murderer, I would understand that, and I would be kind of worried that things could get worse. But if they're just doing a little smoky and it's not legal in their state, I feel like it's kind of crazy to go to the cops and be like, hey, my girlfriend, she's a liar, and get her in actual legal trouble over some situation that she wasn't even a part of, but she technically involved herself in. I'll give him that. But I feel like there's no doubt in my mind that you should know that that relationship's over. You burnt that bridge. If you gotta be the moral high ground man, you're gonna be single, bro. End of story. I will add though, while I probably wouldn't snitch on her, if I wasn't comfortable and it didn't make me feel good, I probably would break up with her either way, because if that's not someone you're comfortable with and trust, then why are you even with them? Alright, so keeping up with the topic of trust, let's do, am I the a-hole for buying a smoothie with Apple Pay? At first, I thought that kind of sounded silly, but this one's actually pretty good. So, my partner, 30, and I, 30, have been together for 5 years, married for 2. I love her deeply. With that being said, we've had some financial issues, mostly due to me. I wasn't honest about my credit card debt, which kept growing after I bought her an engagement ring and wedding ring. I was ashamed and didn't tell her the full amount. At one point, it reached $10,000. I 100% meant I was the a-hole there. Thankfully, I brought it down to $6,000. Still a lot, but I never missed a payment and my credit score is still in the mid to high 700s. We both make similar incomes, but we split the mortgage. She handles the groceries, I cover bills and health insurance. It roughly evens out. I also work a full-time and part-time to stay on top of everything. After coming clean a few months ago, I gave her both of my credit cards so I wouldn't have easy access to them, at least until I pay them off. But I did still have them linked to Apple Pay, which I told her about. But last night I got home after working 12 plus hours between both jobs, with nothing to eat since breakfast. She immediately said I hadn't told her about the part-time shift, and that already kicked off an argument. We don't fight often, as I hate conflict, but this one got heated. She called me lazy, bad with money, good for nothing, no, I'm just kidding, and said she wouldn't pay for me if I got laid off. My full-time job recently had layoffs, but my role is currently safe. To show I've been handling things well, I pulled up transactions to show the bills I paid and my contributions to saving. But then you saw it. A $7 charge at Smoothie King from the day before. I was starving and tired, and I bought a smoothie on my Apple Pay. I paid it off the next day, but she flipped, said it was my financial infidelity again. To her, that's even worse than cheating. Money is her biggest trigger. For context, during our last financial argument, she saw 2 $5 fast food charges and got angry, saying I was poor and irresponsible. She also handles our groceries and always leaves me leftovers and snacks to take. Lately, I've gotten to the bad habit of skipping lunch, which is understandably makes her feel unappreciated. She even mentioned charging me for the food that goes bad, but that's another issue. The fight escalated until she said, "I really hate you sometimes," and that hurt. We're taking space now. I canceled some subscriptions, removed Apple Pay, and agreed she can see my bank account going forward. Still, I feel like this was a huge overreaction to a $7 smoothie, but I'm willing to admit I might still be the bad guy. Am I the a-hole in this case? Alright, this one's pretty cut and dry, so right off the bat, this guy does suck. But I thought this was a good one to still because budgeting is a huge issue and relatable personally. Do not take an overwhelming debt if you do not have the drive to pay it off and get it out of your mind and your partner's mind. She may be feeling partially responsible because you did a fantastical wedding gift, or at least hopefully you did, for 10 grand. I just think it's the best way to start the marriage is to wipe the debt clean, especially if this is something that bothers her, because financial issues truly is a huge factor in divorce. It's still kind of funny though that he thinks it's about the smoothie. Like, she's mad that he got one without her, or that it's like chocolate instead of vanilla or something. Like, when there's $6,000 of debt chilling and a wife at home cooking for you, making you little like Tupperware dishes, like that's pretty legit, bro. I can totally relate to the pride taking over and not wanting to admit your financial situation to your partner. But once you do and take care of your problems, it definitely lifts a weight off your shoulders, and it might save your relationship in the end. Alright, speaking of saving relationships, up next we have, am I the a-hole for flirting with another girl after my girlfriend introduced me as a friend? Yeah, that one sounds pretty interesting. Alright, so we got the storyteller, which is a 28 male, and his girlfriend, 29 female. We have been together for more than 2 years. We recently moved city, and she has started working in a new place 3 months ago. 2 days ago was an after-work get-together event at a bar with her coworker, and she forgot her phone charger at home and her battery was low. I went to give her the extra power bank we have at home, as her phone uses the old USB type. As I went to her table to give it to her, one of her colleagues asked her who I am, but before I could say anything, she replied, "This is my friend," with my name. He agreed to lend me the charger. I was a bit taken aback and looked to her and said, "Friend?" She just laughed and said, "You're so funny, thank you for this," and waved me off, as implying goodbye. One of her other colleagues asked that if I was free, I can also join them, and I said, "Why not?" And I could sense the annoyance on my girlfriend's face. People were drinking, some talked to me and asked me questions, made conversation, what I do, where did I grow up. I should mention at this point that my girlfriend and most of her colleagues, they were Chinese, and I am Indian. This becomes relevant later. Whenever someone else would ask me anything related to how I met my girlfriend, she would pipe up to answer in a way that wasn't untrue, but completely omits any romance, giving the impression that we were just old friends. This kept bothering me, and I will admit I was getting pretty angry. Then one of the colleagues, who initially asked who I was, pretty drunk now, said, "Girlfriend's name, never told us she had such a good-looking friend." Alright, let's just skip past that part. That was my drunk girl laugh. But anyways, he said, "And I didn't know she had such a pretty colleague either," and winked at her, which made her laugh more. But my girlfriend became visibly upset. Another colleague said to my girlfriend, "Seems like you are an expert Cupid." My girlfriend was turning red, and I was also feeling slightly uncomfortable now. So after a bit more chit-chat, I made an excuse and said, I gotta go. The colleague said I should get her number from my girlfriend, and then I left. Now when she came back, she refused to talk to me, and yesterday she angrily told me that I've kind of cheated on her and hurt her badly. I replied that although what I did was hurtful, she also needs to own up that introducing me as just a friend was hurtful. She refuses to acknowledge it as wrong, saying that she's just socially awkward, and she thought that her colleagues might react weirdly to her dating an Indian guy, as they were all dating white or other Chinese people. Her reasoning is that it's just a lot of explanation and questions regarding interracial dating, and she just wanted to avoid all that. I don't buy it. I feel like she just wanted to hide the fact that she is dating me. We are in an impasse. I refuse to apologize till she sees what she did wrong, and she thinks she did not do anything wrong, and I was mean. Am I the a-hole? Alright, I'm just gonna say it. Who's gonna tell him? No, I'm just kidding. But no, some of the commenters, they were probably the most accurate and said it the best. This one, Bitter Paramedic, says, absolutely not the a-hole. Your girlfriend essentially erased your relationship to her new friends I might add, who clearly didn't give a toss about your ethnicity. Your judgment was right, she just didn't want to admit that she was dating you. Sorry, but that's a deal breaker for me. And then the other one guy says, I would love to buy this man a drink for the way he handled it. She didn't want him to be her boyfriend in this group, so he didn't act like it. Beautiful. And this guy says it best, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. And there's a lot of people calling her racist and all this stuff, and honestly, I just think she's using the race and cultural difference as a cover for hanging out with another dude or having like a work boyfriend or something. I think it's kind of a stretch to call her a racist. Although there is many comments about other Asian families and racism between them. So maybe there's a small chance she was nervous, but I can't understand the nuances. I'm not Asian or Indian. But I feel like if you're with someone for 2 years, you need to be able to stand up for them and decide whether you really want to be with them or if you can't handle being with them because of cultural differences. Alright, up next we have, am I the a-hole for making everyone split the bill for a bachelor party? So about a month ago, my childhood best friend got married to a beautiful woman he's been dating for about 4 years now. The night before, I organized a bachelor party for about a dozen of his closest friends who were all coming to the wedding. Since I live in a high COL area and am financially well off, I had no problem covering the cost up front for dinner and bottle service at a club when I scheduled it. In fact, I even commented to the guys the night of that I paid for everything already. Drinks on me, boys. On the night of the event, we all had a great time and the total bill came out to about $7,000. I make plenty of money and I can easily afford it, knowing that I threw my childhood friend an amazing bachelor party. For the last few weeks, I've been really busy at work and only recently reached out to the group of guys about paying for their fair share of the bill. Obviously, I didn't want to be stuck with a $7,000 bill if I don't have to, considering I didn't eat or drink that entire amount, which was consumed by the entire group. Since it's been about a month since the bachelor party, I know some of the guys are annoyed that I'm hitting them up for money to cover the bill. Some don't even drink, but I still split the bill into 12 equal parts, minus the groom, so we are all paying the same amount. I feel that their attendance and the consumption of these items, food and alcohol, mean they should reimburse me at the expenses. So while this one kind of sounds like a rich Reddit roleplay kind of thing, but like people really do act like this in real life, I wouldn't even invite him to my party, to be honest with you. These people kind of suck. When you invite someone somewhere, pay for everything, and then the whole time you're just bragging and trying to make them feel like they owe you or something, and then you're like, nah, I got it, we're good, bro. I think I would actually laugh at this guy too if you hit me up a month later after bragging all night at my buddy's party. And then the way he says that they're his 12 closest friends, I feel like if you have a childhood friend, you probably know at least some of those 12 guys. I mean, how'd you reach out and like get everything set up? You know what I mean? It sounds like you treated all your friends to a good time, and then $7,000, I could actually use that for something else now, eh? Now offering like real advice for someone that actually wants to plan a bachelor party or whatever. It sounds like this is fake because he says the night before he went and spent $7,000 on the party the next day. That's kind of ridiculous. If you really want to plan something out, you do like a month ahead, make a group chat, and then you personally discuss with everyone what they can financially afford to spend on this party, and while it's okay to make compromises a little bit and ask for a little bit more, I feel like it's kind of absurd to spend $7,000 and then send everyone a $550 bill. That's pretty crazy. Alright, so for this last one, it's kind of interesting. I actually disagree with the verdict. They gave him not the a-hole, but with his decision he made in the end, I kind of think he is the a-hole. Leave a comment down below with your opinion if you made it this far on this one, because actually I kind of want to talk about this one. Alright, so let's start. Am I the a-hole? I broke up with my ex-girlfriend roughly 7 months ago after being together for 3 years. We ended on good terms and just figured we didn't work out together. She left me with her dog because she lives in a place that cannot have him. Fast forward to now, I want to go camping with my current girlfriend, who we've been dating for almost 4 months now. My dog has never been a problem besides the fact that he's reactive and doesn't like other people or other animals. So usually when I go somewhere, I had to have my ex watch him, but this time around, she can't watch him because she already has plans of her own. And so I have to hang back while my girlfriend goes camping, which I'm fine with, but my girlfriend thinks that my ex is still controlling me and what I do and don't do. And she wants my ex to come get her dog because it's her responsibility. But where she lives now, she literally cannot have him. And the last thing I want to do is to drop the dog off at the pound because I have grown attached and love the dog very much over the years. We got into a big argument over this. I am honest when I say that I have no interest in my ex whatsoever and never have or never will have plans to be back with her or regret ever breaking up with her. I just didn't want to make her life any harder than I already did because I'm the one that broke up with her in the first place, and I kind of feel like I blindsided her. I don't think my ex is trying to control my life, but I'm worried that my girlfriend will think that I'm still holding feelings and will leave me because of it. So starting off with the comments, everyone's calling him not the a-hole and going, well, I would have stayed home with the dog too. And then this one guy goes, so what is the new girlfriend suggesting you do exactly? If X's living space does not allow dogs, then X is no longer an option. Full stop. Does new girlfriend want you to dump the dog that you have lived with for several years now at a shelter, where, especially as a reactive dog, he may be euthanized? I'd be rethinking this relationship if she is that devoid of compassion. If this is a new argument, or if this is all just because she's mad you can't go camping, or is she just insecure about your ex? And then OP replies, if I wanted to keep the dog, she said she would let me, but I don't want to if it would cause issues in the future. So literally everyone in the comments is telling him she is the bad guy, she's a bad lady, like you should keep your dog and run, bro. And then he updates the post with, well, I told her she has to go get the dog as soon as possible, but she can't until the end of the year. And I'm the a-hole because I'm not making it more of a big deal that she can't watch the dog while I go camping with my girlfriend. Alright, so first off, let's just grab the little baggie and just put your balls in here, bro, because if your girlfriend of 4 months is telling you to get rid of your dog and she's gonna let you keep it if you wanted to, but it's probably gonna cause issues, that you gotta get rid of that girl, bro. That is not the foundation for a good relationship, dude. And I think it's kind of weird that you keep calling it your ex's dog and trying to minimize your relationship when you say you love that dog. You had it for 3 years. You gotta have at least a little attachment to it, bro. So 4-month relationship is kind of wild to get rid of your 3-year relationship with a dog that loves you, bro. Alright, with that being said, let's wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. If you have any opinions or suggestions, I'm more than willing to hear you out. This first one may have a few audio glitches because I'm working out the kinks, but I hope you enjoyed. Catch you in the next one.